So tell me about your upbringing, your childhood, kind of what you maybe the first up until like high school.
I'm a military brat. My mom was in the Air Force. I was born in the Philippines and, lived various different places like Texas, Maryland, Prattville, Alabama, Japan, and Albuquerque, New Mexico. We moved back every 3 years, so, every time we move, you got to do that whole start over, meet new friends. So, I really looked at sports as an outlet, I suppose. Sports really, that's a common interest that people have, and, it just makes it a whole lot easier to meet people. So I use that as my venue and things like that. Boy Scouts, I'm an Eagle Scout.
How did that lead you to the state of Alabama?
Well, I really wasn't really highly recruited coming out of high school because of my size and my position. I was a defensive lineman my senior year of high school.
So when you got to college, you played for Mike Shula. So what was the transition like between, kind of his tutelage to really a rock star type guy like Nick Saban coming to Alabama? What was that transition like for you, maybe training wise, or different players coming in, maybe higher level of athletes that you had to deal with? What was that like, maybe mentally and physically?
Well, Coach Shula, he had his whole thing was he liked smaller, faster players. So, I think I was 208 pounds when I first stepped on campus. So, I was still, once again, a bit undersized, but, could really run. So, they really liked me playing linebacker. And then when Coach Saban came, he brought in guys who were big and could run. I've always been a hard worker. I've always felt like I work harder than anybody else. Or, my work ethic really wasn't the problem, but when Coach Saban came, I became more of a student of the game versus just remembering the plays. When Coach Saban first came, I thought I could get by with just doing my job and knowing my position. But it truly helps you develop as a football player, and I didn't realize this till Coach Sal Sinceri, my position coach, my last year, who Coach Saban brought in, really broke it down to me. You're supposed to know what you're doing, but it really helps you with your chemistry with, the rest of the defense if you know where everybody else is at as well. So not only did I take the time to really refine and, master my craft, so to speak, but, I could tell you what everybody else was doing on the field, where everybody else was supposed to be. Some of them D linemen, they give you that fish out of the water, helpless look. They don't ask, but you can tell that they don't know what to do, so you just tell them really quick. It really helped the whole chemistry, and that was the last year. Alabama went undefeated. We beat Texas in the Rose Bowl.
So let's talk a little bit about maybe where you train and the people that you train with.
Well, I'm in a very fortunate situation that my job allows me to travel on the weekends and be where I need to be, and so my weekends are usually pretty free. I do have a son, so I thought I'd just pack him up and take him with me. He loves it just as much as I do. I train with guys like Walt Harris, Adam Hall, Fred Weaver, Kyle Causing, and I train my jiu-jitsu with Suzanne Ramsden. And I feel very blessed and fortunate to have a jiu-jitsu coach like her. I also go down to Auburn MMA and roll with guys like Malcolm Hardman. He's huge, strong, and got stamina for days.